All right, everyone. So we're diving into chapter 4. I do have a longer lecture, but I also wanted to do a couple of examples to show you all how it works. So I'm using a couple of different data sets here to show you how the charts work. But basically, what we're going to do is take cells and convert them to charts. I want to start first with just having like a basic, um, I'm going to have a sequence of numbers here. I'm just going to create 1 to 10. And all I'm going to do is select the data and I'm going to go up here to my um, home tab and I'm going to go to insert. And there are a bunch of charts that you see in this group here. You're depending on what kind of computer you have, this is a Mac that I'm doing this lecture with, so it might look a little bit different than yours. But basically, you want to go to the charts. You see, we have recommended charts, which are what Excel is recommending to us based on the data that we've selected. We have some 2D, 3D columns here. We have data bars. There's pie charts. There are tree maps, sunburst, there's more histograms, scatter, bubble. I mean, there's so many different types of charts here. And so for this one, I'm just going to pick one and I'm going to go to one of the ones that I like to use is the line chart, which is this one here. It's a 2D line. And what I'm going to do is select just the basic 2D line. And so what it does is take that data set that I just highlighted or selected, and it basically converted it to a chart. So this is our first chart that we've created. From here, if you had not included any of these in the chart, they would not be included. And so to show you really quick, I'm going to undo this really quick. I want to show you, let's say that I only selected the first 8 here. I'm going to go to insert and I'm going back to the 2D line. And so you'll see that now all the data that's included in the chart, because the chart is selected, it highlights what data I'm referring to in my spreadsheet, which is the same as like a formula. When you click on the formula, it highlights the cells it's referencing. So this chart, because it's selected, you see the white squares. That means that it's currently selected and it's showing all the data that I have asked it to show based on the range that I selected here. So right now it's showing 1 through 8. Once your chart is open, you can edit and format the chart in any way that you want. And so up here you can see you can add a chart element, you can add grid lines, you can add, and so this one already has grid lines. So maybe we change them to vertical grid lines and we added vertical grid lines there. You can remove them. Um, Lots of different options that you can use to edit. You can do quick layouts, and these will basically it kind of does like a quick instead of you having to go and add all these individual chart elements, it'll take the chart that you have selected and it'll add different things based on the layout that you see here, and each one is different. So I'm going to click on layout 1 and you see that now it's added an axis title, a chart title, and it has a legend over here, which is kind of like what a legend is basically telling you what is in the chart. What am I referring to? What do these numbers mean? And then you can also you can apply any of these styles. So you can give your chart some color, make it look a little bit more, I don't know, appealing to the eye, or easier to read, whatever it is. You can do a lot of different things and you can edit that there. You can switch the columns and the rows. You can change the chart type. If you decide maybe I want a pie chart or something else, you can change it here. So it's lots of cool things that you can do. Now I'm going to go into the chart that I already have and I'm going to add a title and say this is, I don't know, this is going to be my grades for the class. And then I can put, this is going to be the grades, and down here we have the students. And because I don't have a series for the students, it's not showing them, but you can basically make any kind of edits that you want to the data. And if you decide that you want to edit the chart data itself, you can also do that. There's a tab here for format, and you can, go in and individually try to format things, but I always recommend just using this basic one, just because it already has a lot of the different things that you can change the colors here too. So you don't really have to go into trying to edit anything on your own. I think using these tools that are available to you is just fine. So now I'm going to delete it, and all I'm doing is selecting the chart and hitting delete, and it goes away. So it's pretty easy to add one. So I want you to go ahead and practice adding one on your own. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of these numbers, and I'm going to go up here, and I'm going to go into insert. I'm going to go to, I mean, I could do it from recommended charts, but I'm going to go ahead and go to the columns, and I'm going to choose a 2D column. And you can see here now I have, um, it says HP, and it has the numerical value on the left. And so basically now I have a chart that gives me a visual overview of the Pokemon stats. So you can see here, Charmander represents the orange bars, and he has the highest speed. And then Squirtle, who is the gray bars, he has the highest defense score. You can see here, you can quickly glance at the data. And so these charts are really just made to allow you to interpret some data quickly. When you look at it in a chart, it communicates it in a different way to the audience. So it's a great way for you to take data and put it in a visually, aesthetically pleasing format, so that when you present it to a superior or anything like that, even if it's for yourself, it just makes it easy for you to interpret what you're looking at. And so this is a great way to do it. And it's so easy to do it, and it makes your things look more sophisticated. Um, so I have a Mac, so if you have a PC, you should be able to see a little arrow around your chart that you can click to edit any of the data. For me, I have a Mac, so I'm going to double click on the chart, and you get the format chart window pane that opens up. And here you can see the different things that you can edit. You can edit the chart, you can edit the text. So you can format, the actual like the how pretty it looks is what I like to say. Um, if you select your data, you can double click your data, and then now you get the option to, in this case, because we have a bar graph, you can change the axis overlap. So this is like the width, how wide you want the bars. Um, uh-oh, it's loading here. Anyway, so you can decide how much you want them to overlap. So there's an example of how you can edit that. So different things you could do to try to make your chart look better and change the look. You can change the colors and really do anything. So this is the one that pops up for me, but yours might look a little bit different. And so now when you're in here, like if you wanted to change the text, you can do that as well. Text fill, you can do text outline, and all these options pop up. So depending on what you want your chart to look like, you can do that. And so for me, like I already know this is Pokemon stats. I can give my chart a title there. So you'll notice at the top when you have your chart, like if I click out of this, I don't see any options for me to click on my chart. But if I have the chart selected, you should see your chart design pop up. And this allows you to make those edits that we discussed. And then you can also see the format thing that pops up, but it will only show up if you have your chart selected. If I click on another cell, it disappears. So in order for you to be able to edit your chart, you need to have it selected. The data will then be highlighted to show you what you're referring to, and that's when you can go in. So one of the things I want to do is show you how to add a chart element. One of the, I think, most common things that you always want to add to your chart is a legend. And you want to add these because you want people to know what the heck you're talking about in your chart, right? So let's add one. And a legend, just kind of think of it like the key of your chart that's going to tell people what's what. And so here you see now we have a little legend on the right hand side that tells us which Pokemon is which color, for example. You can change the way that it appears. You can change it instead of right now it's on the let's see, I think we entered it on the right. Let's try to put it on the left. So it moves it to the left. Um, you can go back and let's see, we could put it on the top. So you can change that to be anywhere you want. It just depends, on you. And then you can add, we talked about grid lines. You can talk, or I'm sorry, you can add a title. You can add axis titles. So a lot of people do these as well. So this will give you, this is the Pokemon scores. Whoops, Pokemon scores, or maybe Pokemon, I don't know what you call these. I'm not a big Pokemon fan, but um, I mean, it's their stats, but I don't know, like what are these? Their activities, activities or skills, I don't know. Um, let's do skills. And then you can go back, select my chart. I'm going to close this just so it's out of the way here. And I'm going to add another title on I want it to be vertical on the left, and this will be their stats. Oops, stats. And this now tells me the stats. So I know now when I look at the numbers, when I look at everything, I can kind of see like what's what, and so these are really helpful. So adding the axis titles, whoops, that was not supposed to happen. So I'm going to select my chart again so I can have the chart design open. And from there, like I said, you can add data labels. These are cool because they allow you to add them. Basically, it adds them to each bar. If your chart is small, it gets a little busy. So you kind of have to see if it fits or not, with your chart that you have. So you can see it has the exact number that it's referencing. So, but it looks busy, So one option could be that you make your chart bigger to try to fit those in. Sometimes you can add them to be like a little call out button. Uh, let's see what this one does. So yeah, so play around with it. Try using a basic um, data set and try playing around with it and first become familiar. Before you jump into the assignment, I recommend just getting familiar with how the charts work and how they are edited. And because all of your computers are different, I recommend trying it on your computer to see how it works for you. So we'll have it's like a little plus sign that appears or a little arrow that appears here, and you can use that to make the edits. In my case, because I have a Mac, I have to go open the chart design, or I have to double click and get the format chart window pane to open up. So give it a shot, practice a little bit before you jump into the assignment, and make sure that you watch the next lecture, which goes over everything more in detail.